Okay, already we have studied some points about the halides. These are the some more points. Okay. So first, all boron trihalides are covalent. Why? Because of the Fajan's rule. According to Fajan's rule, the smaller the cation, more will be polarizing power. So more is the polarizing power. Then what it will do? If polarizing power is more, then what it will do? Covalent character will be more. Okay. Why all boron trihalides are covalent? Because of the high polarizing power of the boron, which is due to its small atomic size. Second, only fluorides of aluminium, gallium, indium, and thallium are ionic. Why they are ionic? Because of the less polarizability. Fluorine being the smallest in size, the polarizability is less. So polarizability less, polarization less, covalent less, are ionic more. Okay. So therefore they have high melting and boiling point. Okay. Ionic bond means strong bond. Therefore they have high melting and boiling points. Okay. So apart from the fluorides, if you take the chlorides, bromides and iodides, they are covalent, okay, when anhydrous. But in aqua solution, the already this type of reason we have covered in the previous examples also. Once in the water, the energy will be released. That is hydration energy. That energy can be used to take out the electron completely. Therefore, they are ionic in aqua solution, covalent in anhydrous form. Okay. Next, ionic character increases with increase in size of cation. Cation size increases, polarizing power decreases, covalent decreases, and ionic increases. Is that reason part understood? Note down these points. Okay, now next some more properties. Trihalides are very, very important. Trihalides of chloride, bromide, and iodide can be directly prepared. That means Al plus Cl2 will give AlCl3. Ga plus Br2 will give GaBr3. Directly you can prepare. Okay. And these trihalides are relatively volatile. Volatile in the sense they can evaporate. They can evaporate easily because of the less boiling point. And they exist sometimes small dimolecular. Okay. Dimeric exist in how many states? Vapor phase are in solutions of organic solvents. Next, trihalides of hydrolyze. This is very important in this one, fumes. Okay. What do you mean by fumes? What do you mean by fumes? And the question will be, what is the reason behind the fumes? Anybody can answer? Hmm? Fumes means evolving some gas. Fumes means evolution of some gas. Okay. So let us take AlCl3. When it is treated with moist air means water. Okay. So how many moles I will take? I will take 3 moles. Actually, you should write for easiness 3 into HOH. Okay. So 3 hydrogens and 3 chlorines will form the 3HCl. What they will form? 3HCl, Al and OH whole thrice. The product will be ALOH whole thrice. So because of this evolution of HCl gas, they fume. Fume means evolution of gas. Okay. So trihalides fumes in moist air due to what you will be answer? Your answer will be due to evolution of HCl. Okay, we have studied some compounds, general compounds of the 13th group. Now we are going to study specific compounds. First, let us start with the boron. Okay, compound in the boron is known for its minerals. Very important importance of the boron lies in the minerals. First of all, borax. Borax or Tincol. Okay. Formula is Na2B4O7.10H2O. Its structure is very important. Okay. So structure of borax and how many OH are there, how many bridge oxygens are there. This is very important that I will tell you. Okay. Then kernite also important. Only thing difference is water of hydration. Here you will find 10H2O. Here you will find 4H2O. Resorcinite. Okay. Boracite is not much important. Colemnite, kernite, borax. These three are very important. Okay. Boric acid also. Okay. So you make a star mark with this one. Boric acid, colemnite, kernite, and borax. These are the things which you must revise before the examination. Borax or tincal is Na2B4O7.10H2O. This is not completely water of hydration. Some molecules will be available as OH that you will come to know when I explain through the structure. Okay. Kernite is same, only difference is dot H2O. Here 10H2O, you will find here 4H2O. Boracite is 2Mg3B8O15 dot MgCl2 colemnite, from which we are going to prepare some compounds of boron. Ca2B6O11.5H2O, pendanite. Okay, Ca2B6O11. Again, same difference is with the water molecules. 5H2O if it is there, colemnite, pendanite is 3H2O. Then borocalcite, same Ca2B6O11.4H2O. Okay, boric acid is H3BO3. Note down these compounds of boron, minerals of boron. Okay, during common extraction of boron from its compounds, there will be generally two steps. There will be two steps. First, we will prepare any mineral into the B2O3, that is boron trioxide. We will convert all minerals of the boron first into boron trioxide. Then it is easy for removing the oxygen than any other element. Removing oxygen means what we call it as a reduction. Okay. So second step, we will reduce the boron trioxide, then you are going to get the boron. These are the two stages. Okay. So let us take one example each. Let us take borax. Okay. Borax is simply Na2B4O7. Okay. When it is treated with 2 moles of HCl, 2 moles of HCl, then it is going to form 2 NaCl. This hydrogen, this sodium and 2 chlorine will be removed and hydrogen will be substituted here. Okay. So what it is going to form? H2. Only sodium will be replaced with the hydrogen H2B4O7. Okay. Now this H2B4O7, when further treated with water molecules, it will form H3BO2, metaboric acid. Okay, this is tetraboric acid, this is metaboric acid. Sorry, or orthoboric acid. Okay, now orthoboric acid H3BO3, H3BO3 on heating, it undergoes loss of water. It undergoes loss of water, dehydration, and it will form the B2O3. This is the first step. Stage 1, we have converted the mineral of borax into the boron trioxide. Okay, stage 1 is it understood? What we have, the most important ore is borax. Borax is Na2B4O7 and some H2O also there, that is 10H2O, but chemically it is not reactive. So first HCl it is treated, sodium is replaced with the hydrogen, then it is further treated with water, then it will forms H3BO3, orthoboric acid. Orthoboric acid on heating will undergo anhydrate. Okay. So question will be anhydrate of the boric acid will be B2O3. Anhydrate means whatever the compound we will get after removal of water molecule. Note down this. Stage 1. Suppose in place of the borax, if we have the colemnite, then that colemnite is also converted into borax in two stages. First, when it is treated with Na2CO3, some of the quantity will be converted. Some of this is converted to borax, and the remaining NaBO2 is also there. That can also be converted into borax by further treating with CO2. Okay. So if we have borax directly, previous method, stage 1. Okay. What is that? Simply treat with HCl, then with water, then you will get the B2O3. If in place of the borax, if we have colemnite, this method is additional step. After this, you have to follow the previous step. Okay. So finally, what you will get after the borax is treated with HCl and H2O, you will get the B2O3. Okay. Now stage 2. In stage 2, okay, step 2 or stage 2. Stage 2, what we have to do? We have to reduce. Okay. So B2O3 is reduced. B2O3 is reduced by using highly electropositive metals. Highly electropositive metals. Highly electropositive metals are very simple example: alkali metal like sodium, potassium, alkaline earth metal, beryllium, calcium, okay, magnesium also, okay, aluminium or iron. So they can reduce because they are the reducing agent, strong reducing agent. Already we have studied in the S block. Alkali metals and alkaline earth metals are best reducing agent. Okay, so they will be converted to oxide and boron will be extracted. Is it understood? Sometimes we can use the magnesium, that I will write it here. So before that, make a note of it. Stage 1 is converting of the colemnite or bauxite into B2O3. Stage 2, reducing the B2O3. Okay. For the reduction, normally we will use highly reactive metals such as alkali metal and alkaline earth metal. Apart from that, aluminium and iron can also be used. Okay, B2O3 can be reduced by using alkali metal and alkaline earth metal. But there is a special method. If we reduce it by using the magnesium, then it is 95 to 98% and it is called as a Moissan boron. Very important previous 2 to 3 times entrance examination question. What is Moissan boron? Okay, boron obtained by reduction of B2O3 with magnesium, which is 95 to 98%. This percentage also you should remember, reduced by what it is called, and reduced by what it is called. Moissan boron reduced by magnesium and contain 95 to 98% boron. Okay. Now boron exists in two forms: crystalline boron and amorphous boron. Okay. So if we prepare it by the reduction of BCl3 with zinc, reduction means not only removal of oxygen. Reduction means removal of any electronegative element also. Like BCl3, in this chlorine is electronegative element. So if we remove this chlorine by using the zinc, where zinc will be converted to zinc chloride, then boron will be obtained. That is going to be in crystalline form. And what is the speciality of the crystalline form? What is the shape? That is icosahedron. This crystalline means regular arrangement. So once they are regularly arranged, there must be some shape. That shape of the boron in crystalline form is icosahedron. And if you want amorphous boron, you can simply thermal reduction or thermal decomposition also you can say of the boron hydrides. Boron hydrides are called as boranes. Okay, borane, alane, like that. Hydrides of boron are called as a boranes. How many types are there? Two types: nidoborane and organoboranes. Okay, next is uses of boron. Preparation method, how many stages? Two stages. What are the main ore we have used? Colemnite and borax. Even colemnite also converted to borax, then it is converted to B2O3, then B2O3 is converted to boron by using the two different methods. Okay, boron exists in how many forms? Two forms, crystalline and amorphous. Crystalline form is icosahedron. Okay, now uses, first of all, it is used as a deoxidizer. That means removing the oxygen. Okay, but it cannot be used directly. It is used as a calcium boride. That means calcium will be positive, boron will be negative, calcium boride. That calcium boride is used to remove the oxygen from the metals. Next, most important use is in the nuclear reactor. In the nuclear reactor, it is used for capturing the fast moving neutrons. Because if you are allowing the nuclear reaction in uncontrolled way, that will form as, that will be converted as nuclear bomb. So to control that reaction, some of the neutrons must not be allowed to collide with the fission material. So that control is done by the control rods. So that control rods are made up of the boron steel. Okay, boron steel are very hard, therefore they can stop the neutron and avoid collision of the neutron with the fission material. So if three neutrons are colliding simultaneously, more energy will be liberated. If two neutrons are controlled by this boron steel, then the chain reaction will be stopped or slowed down. Then the energy can be used for the peaceful purpose, which is called as a nuclear reactor. This important is, this reason is, use is very important, and used as a abrasive, that is cutting and grinding. Okay, and used as a rocket fuel. This is also metallic borates only. Boron not directly used. It is normally deoxidizer in the rocket fuel also, a use of the metallic boride. Okay, so this is about the boron preparation and its uses. Now we are going to study with the some compounds of boron. Okay, first compound is borax, boron trioxide. Okay, first compound is boron trioxide. Okay, so boron trioxide formula already actually we have prepared in one of the step only. When we wanted to prepare boron, it goes through the preparation of B2O3 only. But still, if you wanted to prepare boron trioxide, two methods. By simply heating the boron red hot in the atmosphere, where it will be converted to, boron will be converted to B2O3, or by heating the boric acid. Boric acid, when it is heated, it loses water molecule to form B2O3. Or instead of heating, we can use the dehydrating agent P2O5. And questions will be there like advanced examination, selection of the dehydrating agent. As boric acid is acidic in nature, which of the following will be best dehydrating agent? So P2O5, it is also non-metallic oxide. Non-metallic oxides are also acid. So acid will not react with acidic, then they are safe. Suppose if we use some metal oxides, which are basic, so that metal oxide will react with acid to form as salt. So to avoid that reaction, what we have to do, we have to select. If the substance is acidic, then we will use the acidic oxide as a dehydrating agent. One of the best dehydrating agent in acidic oxide is P2O5. Why we selected P2O5 only for the dehydration? Is that clear? Because P2O5 is acid and boric acid also acid. So there won't be any other product. So these are the two methods. Anyhow, separate method is not required because during the preparation itself, we are going to get the what do you call B2O3. Okay. Now, main advantage of this, it is a colorless, transparent, glassy mass. Okay. This is called as a bead. What it is called as bead. Okay. So, because of this property, and it will change. Now it is transparent, but when some metals it combine with, then it will be color. Because of the color, we can identify the some cations, which we call it as a qualitative analysis. What we call it as a qualitative analysis. So which metal will give you which color, that we will call it as a borax bead test. Note down this word, very very important, borax bead test. Where we will use? We will use in qualitative analysis. How we will use? Different metals like cobalt green color. So different metal present in the given salt will give the different color. Otherwise it is transparent. Once it is treated with the given salt, depending on the metal ion present in the given salt, it will be colored. Okay. So that color can be used to identify the metal available in the given salt. That is called as borax bead test. And it is hygroscopic, and it is already acidic. B2O3 in the oxides only we have studied. It is acidic in nature. Okay. Note down this, and some more compounds we will study. Mainly we should study about the borax bead test. Okay. That will come to know now. Okay, as I told you, borax is used in the borax bead test. Okay. First of all, what is borax bead and what is the formula, how it is prepared, let us see. When borax is heated, on heating the borax, that is Na2B4O7.10H2O. First, once it is heated, it swells up. Okay. The reason they will ask why it is swelling up, due to elimination of water. To give the weight to eliminate the water, there will be swelling. Okay. So like this, if it is flat, then there will be swelling. Then through this holes, the water will come out. Okay. So now it is borax. Now it is converted to anhydrous borax. Anhydrous borax Na2B4O7. And this temperature also very important. When heated to 740 degrees Celsius, then a transparent glassy bead, which I told you, the chemical formula is here, 2NaBO2 plus B2O3. This is what the transparent glassy bead. Now into this bead this bead will be used to identify the different metal. Different metal will give you the different color. Now it is glassy transparent bead. This will be converted to different colors depending on the metal. So what are the metal, what is the color, that we are going to study now. Okay. What you think you will remember? The formula of glassy bead, then temperature, and then why it swells up. Three things you have to remember in this paragraph. Okay. Okay, we got the hot glassy bead. Now this hot glassy bead is brought in contact with colored salt. Okay. So whatever the salt in which we wanted to find out which metal is present. For that we are going to use this borax bead test. So in this, what we will bring that salt in contact with glassy bead and again heated. Then during the heating, this B2O3 will go to that metal, displaces the volatile oxide and forms metaborate, like metal with copper metaborate, iron metaborate, cobalt metaborate. So that metaborate of the metal, different metal metaborate will have different color. Okay, like that whatever the metaborate we got, that with the characteristic color we will identify. Okay, if the given salt contains copper, then the copper metaborate will be formed. So copper metaborate color is blue color. If the given salt contains iron, then it will form the iron metaborate. It will be green color. Cobalt will be blue color again. Chromium will be green color. Nickel will be brown color. Okay. So these are the metals, and further confirmatory test. This is only a preliminary test. Suppose we got blue color, we will assume that it can be cobalt or it can be copper. Okay. But further it is reconfirmed with the further test. This is only preliminary test. It can be copper or cobalt, it can be iron or chromium. Like that you will just guess that iron may be present, cobalt may be present, chromium may be present. So borax bead test, is it understood? Mainly you should remember metaborate, okay, and colors. Note down this and by heart. Okay, so let us see in the next topic in the our next class, and very important topics we are going to cover. Especially boron is very important, diboron, and borax structure, inorganic benzene, borazole. These are the very important compounds. So don't miss don't miss any lecture. So try to follow every lecture. Okay. Bye bye, see you. Don't forget to like this video, and I'm going to give you some surprise in my future videos. Okay.